there, so creatives, it's time for another interesting tutorial. So in this tutorial, we'll be making this beautiful front twisted dress, right? So here is my pattern. This is the pattern I'll be using for the dress. So we'll be altering this pattern. This is a basic down pattern. How I got this pattern is by drafting my basic bodice and my basic skirt separately and then joining with masking tape at the middle. Can you see? So this was how I achieved this, and if you watch well, there are no dots at all in the pattern. So simply be using the slash and spread method to achieve the fitness in the gown. Okay, and also note that you'll be using a stretchy fabric for this style. Okay, having said all of this, let's go down to business. So the very first thing you want to do is to notice the midpoint of the pattern. Can you see the midpoints? Can you see? Okay, you can achieve this by trying to fold your pattern like this and then inserting a line simply like this. Okay, so on the waistline of this midpoint, what you must do, you use your tape measure and measure 2 inches upwards and mark. Okay, 2 inches upwards and mark. Please note that this depends on where you want your knot, okay, the twisted knot to be. Okay, so for me, I want it on the left part of my body. So as you have measured this upwards, the next thing you want to do, you will measure to the left, because that's the part I want the knot twist to be. So I'll be measuring 3 inches towards the left again. Okay, so first you measure 2 inches upwards. Okay, 2 upwards, and then now 3 to the left. Okay, 3 inches to the left. I hope you take note of that. From here, from the midpoint on the waistline, you went up by 2 inches, and then from that 2 inches point you've marked, you measure towards the left by 3 inches. Okay, so bear this in mind. And now come to the armhole region. Okay, on this armhole region, you measure 2.5 inches down and mark. Okay, 2.5 inches from the armhole. I hope that is clear. Also on this part, okay, on this other down, you measure from the waistline, you measure 3 inches downwards and mark. Okay, 3 inches down. So we have here, here and here. So what you will do now, you just simply use your ruler and connect these 3 points. So here I'm connecting here to here like this, and here to here like this. Can you see? So having done that, the next thing you want to do, you measure on this other part of the armhole 2.5 inches again down. Okay, and mark. And now you connect these 2.5 inches to these points. So having connected here to here, you now simply connect here to the hip line. Look at the hip line on this other side. Okay, so you connect it like this. Now have here, here, here and here. So let's simply label what we are having. So the upper part, we'll call it A, this side we'll call it B, and here C, and then here we'll call it D. Okay, can you see what we have labeled? Now let's cut it out separately. So as you can see, I've separated A from B, C from D. Can you see? So the next thing we want to do, we will just impute our slash lines, but before then, CD. So let's now pair. We'll pair A with D and then B with C. Okay, now let's go in there and impute our slash line. So here I'm done imputing the slash lines. Can you see? So what I actually used to determine the slash lines is that midpoint. Okay, let's put them together. You can remember this point from which we connected to here, 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 and then here. Then we form the separation. So all slash lines must stop at this point or must start from this point. Okay, so all slash lines must be pointing to this point, so to say. So now let's separate again. Okay, on this side we're able to add 4 slash lines. Okay, the number of slash lines you input doesn't really matter, they mustn't be equal numbers. Okay, but the number of slash lines actually determines how draped the knot will look at the end of the day. Okay, so for this upper part I have 5 slash lines, then the D part that will be attaching to it I have 4 slash lines, and that doesn't really matter. Okay, so on this part too, this down part I have about 7 slash lines. Okay, can you see them? Okay, all pointing to this point. And then on this smaller part, the B part, I have 4 slash lines. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll simply cut the slash lines open. Here on the A and the D, I have slashed the lines open. Okay, using my scissors. Please note that I did not cut it through. Okay, I didn't cut it out, but I cut very close to the end of each line. Can you see? Okay, so that's what you should do. Put aside the B and C first. Okay, so for this A and D, can you see it? So this is how you are going to arrange it, like this. Okay, you just ensure that the last part of the slash should be touching each other. That is, this on the A part should be touching this on the D part. Okay, like this. And then this on the D should be touching this on the A, like this. Can you see what we have now? Okay, so this is how slashed it should look. Can you see? So we'll be placing our fabric under this, and then we'll cut it out exactly like this on the fabric. We're using is a velvet fabric. Okay, stretchy on one side but not too stretchy on the other side. Okay, so I'll be using the stretchy side for my horizontal measurements. So here we are simply done arranging it. Okay, can you see? Just like we said earlier, these two parts must align. Okay, and they must meet. Okay, so here I'm done cutting it out on my fabric. Can you see? So this is what we are having, and note that I cut it out without any allowance. I only gave half an inch seam allowance. Okay, that's all. So I'll put this aside and then look at what we'll be working with. Okay, now let's also keep this aside and then do same for the B and the C. I'm also done arranging the B and the C. Okay, and in the same way I'm aligning the sides to touch. Okay, here and here they are touching each other, so I'll simply cut this out. I'm cutting this out. It's time to separate our patterns from our fabric, so we are putting the pattern aside now, and this is what we are gotten from the B and the C. So it's now time to sew. Okay, let's now bring our A and D. Can you see the A and D? Can you see it? So let's just set it aside and start with the B and C. So how to sew for the B and C? You just simply hold it like this, okay, and then on this point you run your stitches, and when you run your stitches you measure 1 inch down, then run your stitches to the end. Did you get that? So let me take that again. So this is for the B and C. On the left side of the B and C, on this very side, you bring this, okay, to meet with this here, like this. So from here you measure 1 inch and mark. Then from that 1 inch point you run your stitches down to this place. So I'll simply do that with my machine. So we continue sewing. Can you see? So I'm done stitching to the end, and then I left out the 1 inch allowance. Okay, you can make it less than 1 inch, a little less than 1 inch. is still okay if the fabric is a stretchy one. But if the fabric is not a stretchy one like this, you can make it 1.5 inches. So here you simply bring the other part of the dress. Okay, can you see the A and the D parts, and then place it. Okay, you can hold it together like this and place it inside the opening that we created earlier on. Okay, so you just put it like this. I hope you are watching what I'm doing. So you just put it like this. It's very simple, like this. Okay, once you put it like this, you now drop this part. So your aim now is to sew on 3 points. This very point first. Okay, can you see? So you sew here, and then you now bring the D this way. Okay, so you will sew here and here. Can you see this? Our knot has formed. Can you see the knot? So let me just flip it over and show you something on the other side. Can you see what we are having here? So you simply hold this together like this and then run your stitches. Run your stitches in such a way that you run them very close to the knots. Okay, as close as possible. Then on this side too, you do the same thing. Okay, you run the stitches from the hip area. Can you see? From here like this, and stop as close as possible to the knots. Then on this side you have just one side to sew. Okay, that is the under armhole region. The same thing, you run your stitches from the wrong side as close as possible to the knot. So now I'll simply go to my machine and run my stitches and show you the results. Here I'm done joining. Can you see? So all the points I described, I've joined them together. Okay, can you see? So we are done. Now this is what we have. Can you see the twists? Our front twisted dress is ready. Okay, so what is left for this dress is just to attach the back to the front, and then the back was cut out in the normal way, the normal background cutting method. So I'll just simply join the back to the front and join the sleeves and show you the outcome. In our next video, you're going to be watching how to attach the sleeves. So please subscribe to our channel and put on your notification, so when we upload our next video, you'll be the first to see the video, and then you learn how I made these beautiful sleeves, right?